One of my grandkids was at a ball game the other day. It was during Halloween, almost Halloween time. He's 3 years old, and he saw for the first time in his life a midget, a man who was shorter than he was. Well, he got kind of excited, and he thought he'd go ahead and announce to the whole crowd there that amongst them was a fake man. So he said just as loud as he could say to his mom, "Look, Mom, a fake man, a fake man." She quickly said, "Shh, Joseph, shh, quit yelling at him." Well, that wasn't good enough. He wanted to be congratulated. So a few minutes later, here comes his dad walking up the bleachers with some cotton candy, I guess, and a Coke or something. And before his dad can get close to him, he starts yelling as loud as he could, "Look, Dad, a fake man, a fake man." Well, finally, that little midget turned around, looked at Joseph, and smiled at him. That kind of calmed Joseph down a little. And he quit screaming, "a fake man." Well, he wasn't a fake man. He was just a short man. Because I found that it don't matter how tall or short you are. There's a lot of tall fake men and a lot of short real men. Because it's not how big you are, how little you are. As one man said one time, it's the content of your heart, not the size of your stature, that matters. Because you can't judge a book by its cover. Man, as soon as you learn that, you're going to be better off than you've ever been. One time I went to buy a John Deere tractor. And things are expensive. They ain't cheap. I kept telling my wife, "Can't we go get one at Kmart?" She said, "No, we're going to get the best." I said, "Honey, the best is like 10 times more than they look. They're just as shiny. They both look pretty. One of them's red, one of them's green. I think red's even prettier than green." She said, "No, we're going to get a John Deere, honey. You can afford it, we're going to get it." Well, we go in that showroom, and there's a guy there. I mean, he looks like the most professional John Deere authorized representative I believe I have ever seen in my life. That guy looked like he knew everything about John Deere. And there was another guy over there in the corner. He looked like he just crawled out of a pigsty, a mud hole. I mean, he was dirty. He was greasy. He was bald. Nothing wrong with being bald. Except I don't like it. It don't look good. I would never marry a bald woman. I'd have to look at her several times to see if she was even a woman. I don't want to get off on another train of thought, but my 17-year-old son went to get a haircut the other day. He said he told me this, but I don't remember him saying it. When he come back, he's bald. Had all his hair shaved off. I said, "What in the world's wrong with you?" He said, "I told you I was going to shave it off." I said, "You didn't do any such thing." He said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "I'm going to shave it all off." And you just said humph when I said that. Well, if I said humph, it's because I thought he was just saying something stupid, You know how kids are. That's all they ever say is stupid stuff. Of course, they say that's all we ever say is stupid stuff. So one of us is wrong somewhere. I'm sure all of us say a stupid thing a time or two every now and then. So it could be that we're both right and we're both wrong. But anyway, he come back bald. And I said, "Well, since you shaved your head off, you might want to get one of them permanent markers, put a cross right on the top of your head. And you can put 'Jesus loves you' at the top, and it can meet right down here on the forehead, So, you might well get some benefit out of looking like a freak. But, he seems to think it looks good. I beg to differ, but anyway, hey, he's bald. I hope he don't get a sunburn on his head. But anyway, I was going back to that little story of Joseph and what happened with the fake man. But it don't matter what a person looks like. It matters what's in their heart and the content of their character. That's the most important thing. I've seen people in my life, like that guy at the John Deere place. He looked like he was the best salesman I've ever seen. He knew everything. Well, I could have talked to either one of them two guys because it was early in the morning. Well, I go up to this guy. He's dressed in a John Deere outfit. That guy's dressed to kill. That guy didn't know nothing. He didn't know a blessed thing. Every time I asked him a question, he had to go to the bald-headed guy that was covered in mud. And I realized after about 30 minutes that the bald-headed guy was the manager. He knew everything. Why, oh why did I go to that bald-headed man? Because I judged the book by its cover. Because I saw the bald-headed man and said, "Hey, there's a fake man right there." No, that was a guy that knew everything. So you better be careful what you're looking at, because if you're looking with just your natural eyes, you're going to see a fake man. So try to look with your spiritual eyes. And the only way you can do that is say, "Lord, direct my steps. Good book says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He'll lead you the right way. You know what? While he's leading you the right way, you'll be thinking, this is not the way I'm supposed to go. This ain't the way it's supposed to be. But if you quit fighting God and get into his plan, he'll lead you the right way, and you won't wind up being tricked or duped by a fake man. Because there's a lot of them out there, buddy. They look good. They can get you tricked before you can turn around. They can blink their eyes, and all of a sudden they got you. They got you hypnotized. But anyway, that guy, I bought a John Deere tractor from that day, but I had so much trouble with that guy that's supposed to know everything, because I couldn't. It's like he didn't even speak English. It was just really frustrating. But I finally got my wife's John Deere tractor, and I have to admit it was better than any of them I ever had. We had it for about 10 years, and it did not break down one time. With the Kubota, no offense, Kubota, or the ones we got at Kmart, whatever, they were constantly in the shop. So you get what you pay for, and that was a good John Deere. But anyway, that fake man business, I got to think about that. I was a catcher for a major league baseball team. Well, it was major league to me. It was our church softball team. That's just as good. I didn't get paid as much. Actually, I didn't get paid anything. Think about it. Unless you consider cramps in your legs payment. But I was a catcher, and I was squatting down one day at our church softball team, and I heard somebody in the back in the audience screaming, "That catcher's got a big fat butt." Well, he's talking about me. Well, I wanted to jump up and get that softball and knock him in the head with it until I saw it was my son-in-law, and then I really wanted to do it. Because he's got a few idiosyncrasies about him. I don't make fun of his idiosyncrasies, but I wanted to say real loud, that heckler's got crooked, rotten, redneck teeth. But I didn't say it, but I'm saying it now. Justin, get your teeth fixed. All right? You don't have to look like a redneck your whole life just because you are one. I mean, hey, you're a handsome fella if you don't open your mouth. So, and you're sure handsome if you don't open your mouth and say somebody's got a big fat butt, because that just tells me something wrong with you, because you're looking at men's butts. You're supposed to be married to my daughter. Please don't be looking at men's butts. Please don't be doing that. Anyway, I can go back to the main subject at hand, and that's fake people and real kids. Kids are real. They're real a long time until somebody tells them it's okay to lie. If they lie, they won't get caught. And then they turn fake like some of our politicians. Politicians, unfortunately, a lot of them do lie. I don't want to say they're liars. It's just when they tell you something and they get elected and then they don't do it, it's always somebody else's fault if they didn't do it. It's kind of like Adam and Eve, Here comes the devil telling Eve to eat of the fruit. And God said not to do it, so she eats it. She gives it to Adam, he eats it. And God said, hey, what's going on here? And Eve said, hey, that snake, that snake did it. And Adam said, was that woman that you made for me, she did it. Now, we take responsibility for our own actions. I try not to blame people when I screw up. Even if they're doing something to me, and it's and they're trying to hurt me or take something from me, I know that ultimately my life's and my destiny's in my own hands. It says in the good book that you need to take your life, that a man's salvation is in his own hands. And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. However you think is however you are. So become a real person, because I'm telling you what, you'll meet people in your life, even in churches, even people you trust, even people in universities and colleges and people you look up to, that you will think they're the salt of the earth. And here's what you're going to find out, unfortunately. Some of them, not all of them, some of them, they're not the salt of the earth, but they are salt in the sense that they will suck you dry if you let them. I've had people that I worked with that, I just had so much respect for them until I really got to know them. And I'm thinking of one individual particularly that he had such a good pickup line. And he would tell people, hey, tell me about yourself. Well, he no more listened to what they said than the man in the moon. But he's making a sale. And that's what he'd get. He'd say, tell me about yourself. And then his mind would go off into something else. What he's going to do something. I knew what kind of person he was. But he always smiled. He's a nice guy. But I tell you what, I wouldn't trust him with my wallet. And then I met people that didn't look like they ever even took a bath. Much less dressed up and had a PhD. And those are the kind of people that could build you a mansion and do it perfect the first time. The kind of people that you could trust them with your life. They didn't claim to be a Christian. They didn't claim to know God. They didn't claim nothing. They just worked honest, worked hard, and they were loyal, and they did what they said they'd do. That's the kind of people that make the world go around, is real people, not fake people. Fake people think you can get around the system and you can do things you want to do and it's okay. But, the good book never lies. God don't lie. You know, that's one thing God can't do is lie. And you know what's really amazing is something the devil cannot do. And benefit to tell the truth. And you know what? They'll lie. Just it could be daylight. They said, no, it's dark. It's dark outside. It'll be broad daylight. But they're so used to lying because the devil is the father of liars, and he gets that spirit of lying in them, and they don't know how to tell the truth. You know, it reminds me of a story one time. This black man was saying, he said he had a problem being faithful to his wife, who was white. No offense to black people or white people. I'm just telling a story. It's a true story. And if I told you who the guy was, you know who he was. He's pretty famous. He said one day he was had a girl in his house, not his wife. His wife comes walking in and sees him with this girl, this black girl. And she said, "You're cheating on me." He said, "I am not." She said, "What?" She said, "I'm looking right at you." He said, "Who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes?" He said, "Honey, it's a black thing. I'm not cheating on you." And what I'm saying is, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it ain't a mouse and it ain't a bird. You can't take, if you want corn, you got to plant corn in the ground. It's got to be real corn. It can't be plastic corn. If you put plastic corn in the ground, you ain't going to get no corn. Now, listen, I don't even like corn unless it's popcorn. And I like popcorn if it's when I'm watching a good movie. That's good. But that's, if you're going to reap what you sow, whatever you do now is going to determine your life down the road. It's so true. And it's never too late to change. Don't let it, if you're breathing, if you're listening to me, hey, change today. You ain't perfect and I ain't perfect. Ain't no one that was perfect. And we crucified him. So, but today is the day to change and do the best you can do and ask God for help and stuff you can't do. And the main thing is to love people. Don't expect too much from them, but hey, expect them to do a good day's work if you're paying them. And realize that, hey, there's a lot of real people out there, and ask the Lord to lead you to the real people. And my kids, when you treat people right and you're real, hopefully your kids will grow up and be the same. My kids have been real to me sometimes. Sometimes I'm wondering if they're not fake or real, but I remember when I was several years ago, and all of them were still living at home, I was sitting in a restaurant. At the time, I weighed over 400 pounds, and it was a buffet. Well, my oldest son at the time, Jacob, he was 16. Everybody finished eating but me. Since it was a buffet, I was still eating. And old Jacob told me, he said, "Let's go, I'm ready." He finished eating, he jumped up, he's standing there like a security guard, arms crossed. I said, "You ain't going nowhere." I said, "I'm still eating." He said, "Well, I'm ready. I got things to do, places to go. Let's get out of here." I said, "Look, unless you're paying for this meal, sit your rear end down and wait till I finish." Well, he didn't like that answer. So he just kept standing there back and forth with his feet, with his arms crossed, ready to go. And then he began to chant, got his other 4 brothers and sisters to chant with him as I'm eating. He began to chant, "How would you like to weigh 600 pounds? How would you like to weigh 600 pounds? How would you like to weigh 600 pounds? Well, you know what? Suddenly I lost my appetite. All these people standing there, seeing this big old fat guy sitting there eating at a buffet with 5 kids chanting, "How'd you like to weigh 600 pounds? I guess they thought I was trying to get in the Ripley's Book of World Records, but I was just trying to finish my meal that I was paying for. So I got up and left. Another time, Jacob was on Father's Day. He come over to the house and said, "Hey, I want to buy you dinner for Father's Day." I'd worked all day long. I was tired. I said, "Jacob, I'm tired. I don't want to go nowhere for Father's Day. I just want to go to bed. Maybe watch a movie. I'm going to go to sleep." He said, "Dad, a brand new steakhouse opened up here in Cleveland, and I'm going to take you out for a steak dinner." I said, "Jacob, I don't even like steak, number 1. Number 2, I'm tired. Number 3, I'm not going." He said, "Yes, you are." He said, "I'm buying you a steak dinner for a Father's Day." Well, he kept on. Wouldn't, Jacob, the thing about him, he never shuts up. You have people that just keep on. And it's a good thing if you're a salesman, but it's not a good thing if you're a father and you don't know how to maybe get some earplugs or something. So finally he convinced me. So we go there, and this steakhouse on the other side of town, over 20 miles away. We get up there. Now there's 13 of us. Our whole family's there. We all eat, and the bill comes. It's about $138. I said, "Jacob, it wouldn't be right for you to buy everybody's meal. Just buy mine. That's all." He said, "Well, Dad, I just wonder." And he said, "If you could buy my meal and my family's meal, because I left my wallet at home. I ain't got no money on me." I just looked at him. I said, "Then what the freak are we doing here?" He said, "Well, I thought I did, but I'll do it next year for you." He said, "It was a good meal. You enjoyed it, didn't you?" I said, "No, I did not enjoy it. I was tired, and I still am tired. And steak was kind of tough, and I got a $138 bill here to show for it. So he said, Dad, it's Father's Day. I just bought you dinner. I said, did you really? Or did I just buy you dinner? He said, I bought you dinner because I got you here. I said, well, who's paying for it? He said, that don't matter. He said, the money ain't the point. It's the point of the love that I have for you, Dad. And, you really can't put a price tag on love, now can you? It's funny, people say that are not the ones that ever pay for anything. The ones that pay for it don't say that. But the ones that don't pull no money out say, you can't put a price tag on love. Like my son Jacob, when I was training him, he'd get in arguments with these people, these older people, about politics. One of them one time said to me how George Bush was mean. He was president at the time. And I just kind of smiled. I said, yeah, he's mean, ain't he? And that couple said, we bet you were a Republican. I said, ma'am, I just vote for the man that I like. And we got out there. My son Jacob said, why don't you argue with these people? I hadn't set them straight. I said, Jacob, I'm not here to argue with them. I'm here to sell them insurance. I said, I don't want to get in no political debate. I ain't going to change your mind. If they need help, I'll help them. If they need to be preached to, I'll preach to them a little bit. But that's not my calling. My calling is to make a living. He said, well, I tell you what, when I talk to him, I'm going to straighten them out. Well, when he got to selling, I noticed he never said another word about that. And I said, well, have you found anybody you disagree with politically, Jacob? He said, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy making a living. He said, I got to sell insurance. So, he's still real, but he knows it don't do any good to argue with people. So I think what we need to do is get real people and be real. That's what makes the earth go round. The fake people, they plant fake corn. It comes up plastic. Don't come up at all, actually, and they get mad at us. They go to real people, try to get it from them. Don't give it to them. Tell them to go get a job. Tell them to be honest and quit stealing. And they'll be a lot better off, and so will you. And when you see them, you won't have to say, hey, look, Mom, a fake man. Because we need more real men. It'd be a whole lot better to tell the truth. And if we all told the truth, it'd be a whole lot better. The truth will set you free than to tell lies. Because when you tell lies, you got to keep remembering what the lie was you told before. And it just gets into a big mess. And people know when you're lying to them. After a while, they know, hey, that person's a liar. It's better to tell the truth and make them mad at you now. At least they'll respect you for it. Now, I'm saying that, but I'm guilty of trying to gloss things over and be nice to people. Sometimes you just got to tell them the way it is. And the Bible says a frank reply is a blessing. And that don't mean the guy named Frank replies to you. That means Frank means tell the truth. So anyway, don't be a fake person. Be a real person. That way your kids will be real kids and they'll all grow up and they'll all love you. Okay? Maybe. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But at least you'll be real. God bless you. Have a great day.